Hello everyone, and welcome back aboard the Devtastic Voyage. Ahoy there, yar! Other nautical piratey sounding words. Still not 100% happy with this intro, but thanks to everyone for the feedback from last week, both on the character design and the overall show. I am still finding my way with this show, seeing how I can make it better. Overall presentation-wise, it gets very confusing the more complicated we get, and I'm not really a performer. Like, I'm not a let's player, I'm not a streamer, I'm me. I'm a goofy looking bugger who has no hair and is kind of losing what many would recognize as a chin. Kinda got some double chin going on. Well, that happened. You all watched that happen, so you were actually all the bad people. Yep, it's confirmed. Stop. Did it. Moving along. So, where does that put us at this week? This week we're going to go back to design, as I am still tweaking what I want to do with the characters before I show you any progress done on them. But that will happen maybe next week or the week after. But we do have a lot of this game we do need to sort out. And to do that, our design time is going to start now. And boom! I am a sorcerer! Okay, so I did some pre-work before this one because I didn't want to show you all me just filling these boxes out because this is all stuff you've already seen. This is where our game is at so far. And it is already starting to balloon up in the middle. So we have our start-off choice, our out-of-universe choice. It's an important choice, but it doesn't really make sense for it to happen in universe. We're not going to be like a spirit who all of a sudden takes over one of these guys. It's going to be just kind of done in menu. So you pick your starting character, either Sully or Shadow. We then both are going to transition to the start of school day. We're going to introduce the new kid. He can be all beautiful and gorgeous, and we're just going to want to go skip with him. Which is really, yep, that's one of those moments I realize how weird this is. Why is anyone okay with this? I am a mental patient who should be giving themselves a hug every day. Okay. So then you have to make a decision, either as Sully or Shadow. Do you go talk to him yourself? Or do we send in Hype Man Era? Hype Man Era. Alright. And then from there, this is where it really starts to get fat. Okay, so if we go talk to themselves, you can go say something clever. You can say something neutral, which I initially go with, like, how's the weather? But I was told in the UK, that's actually, like, very hot and spicy romance talk is talking about the weather. Or you can say what I just said, something stupid. And then we did have... I don't like why isn't this going over? Then from there, we did have... Okay, if you say something clever, if you're Sully, Shadow's going to send you a note because he's starting to like you because you put the moves on him. If you're Shadow, you tried to say something clever, Sully found it in poor taste, so now you're having to figure out how you can make up for bad first impression. If you say the neutral thing, you wind up alone if you're Sully trying to regroup, or if you're Shadow, you're regrouping with Era. If you say something stupid, well then if you're Sully, go regroup with Era, or she consoles you. But if you're Shadow, Sully then approaches you because you said something stupid and he found you endearing. So, that's where we're at as far as things that have been decided. While I was thinking, hey, maybe we decide what happens from here, you can already see that's going to go a lot of places, and we're actually going to start getting to the point where things start to crisscross, and we start filling the buckets in, and I need a better analogy than buckets, because buckets doesn't really sound, romantic at all. But I don't know, maybe this Valentine's Day you get her what she really wants. A nice new bucket. Maybe that's her thing. If it is, that's I have no way to segue out of this. This was a mistake. It's a fire. We have lost the patience moving along. So, if we send in Era, we have to decide what happened. We have to decide, what are we sending her to talk to? Okay. So, we're Suli or Shadow. We sent in our good friend Era. Like, okay, I want to skip with this new kid. Why don't you go ask about him? Do recon. Or go hype him up for you. And that is why we have Hype Man Era, who looks kind of like Hype Man Beanie Bandit. That's a whole bundle of confusing right there. Alright. So, and now we have to do the most dangerous of all things. We have to think. Alright. So, this will be Era reporting back to you. So we have to weigh out everyone's motivation. Suli can't decide if he wants to skip with Era or Shadow. Era wants to skip with Suli, and Shadow wants to skip with someone. Okay, so do we have Era start enacting a plan here, or do we give the player more control here? Okay. What to do? Okay, I will put myself in the mind of a high school-aged Era. Holy crap, that's a bundle of scary darkness. This was a bad idea. Okay, pull the cord, do the kick, anything, get out of here, okay. So, I'm probably gonna get flambéed for that one. But let's think. What would she report back to Suli if Suli wanted info on Shadow? You'd think it makes logical sense. We want to do something here that works as disparaging for Shadow, so Era is the more viable skip option, but also feels kind of benign. We don't want to pull the trigger on, haha, I've stolen you away yet. Okay. So, I think for both of them, we could probably do the same thing. Cause if you ask him to, ask her to talk about him, we'd get Era to her where she wants to be, the same way if basically she comes back and badmouths him to you. Yeah, you don't want anything to do with him. He's no good. Because in the context of what we have laid out so far, that makes sense. Because her ideal skip partner is Suli. And so her and Shadow have a kind of friendly rivalry for Suli. And when you're playing as Suli, I don't think we make it quite as friendly, but this works in context of universe. Okay, so it has to be like that passive aggressive bad mouthing, like, oh yeah, he's certainly something. Like, sounds benign, but is actually damaging. And then if we're gonna have her talk about you, so we're having Hype Man Era go out there. Does it service us to have a real difference between the two? Maybe in terms of what she says, so we kind of make it a faux choice for the player, where it's a choice in name only, but the relative information and whatnot hasn't changed all that much. Mostly because if we keep having them branch off like this, we'll be making two entirely different games, and that's going to be a lot of work, a lot of episodes, and I don't think you people want to sit through all this, as most of this has so far been me hemming and hawing, and when it comes to coding, it'll be me. Why doesn't that work? Why do I suck? And just the sound of... which is me banging my head on the table, not me banging something else. Anyway, so I'm thinking we make this a similar choice, or similar outcome as well. So we send me to talk about you. So what does she report back? I told him about if I were a hype man, what would I say about Shadow and Sully? Well, Sully is easy because it's mostly just, my God, look at that beard. That is just one to attach the beard. This is recorded madness. They are going to lock me in the loony bin for this one. I realize you all can't see what I'm doing. Production woes. Okay, so... and if I was hyping up Shadow, I'd be like, that guy is awesome. He's a bundle of energy. And I'm tired just from talking to him for the first 5 minutes. So, okay, let's... again, we want to... It's a passive-aggressive... yeah, totally talked you up. But we don't want her to be conniving. That just but it is a high school age girl, and from what I remember, but granted, none of them talk to me. What could we do? Because we want something that works for both guys. Okay, we need to brainstorm. How are we going to brainstorm, you ask? We are going to sit here and basically doodle. Okay, so we have Sully and we have Shadow. Okay. So, and we have, of course, Hype Man Era. Okay. Artist representation of everyone involved. So. Okay. What could we do here? So, man. This is the really boring part of game design, ladies and gentlemen, where it actually becomes design and you have no idea what you're doing and kind of just want to spin in a circle and make engine noises. So you know what? You clicked on this video. You have chosen to support the ravings of an utter madman. I am so sorry. Alright, so... Is that snidey enough? If we just basically have her come back and say... told him what you're like. I think that works. It's benign, yet we can give ourselves some leeway, narrative-wise, for how, because in addition to shaping our character, our actions kind of shape Era's character throughout this. The only real character who stays static is the person we're trying to skip with. But again, there's 8 different ways this can end, so there's about 8 different eras. Hold on. Just you can actually hear the sound of fanboys and girls enjoying that thought. 8 different Sulis, again, saddle fangirls and boys, and 8 different shadows, perk fangirls and boys. I have made so many fanboys and girls happier with that thought. I am truly a man. I am the fanboy and girls champions. I'm like The Rock, except I'm short and fat. So yeah, I think that works. So that lays out basically where we can go from here. Is all laid out. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the time. That's about all I wanted to get done. We have so far laid out our first 3 choices. So we're in between class 3 and 4 now. So we have 5 more choices to go before we find out who we eventually skip with. Now it's going to get really, you can tell it's going to get really, really fat. We may do some crossovers here and here, and maybe here and here, and over here, and over here, and over here. And I realized I didn't really point to anything, because that probably made no sense to anyone. But eventually we are going to, like I said, it's all about filling up these buckets with all the different skip feelings and juices. And I shouldn't have said the word juices. Why did I say the word juices? Just wrap this one up and get out of here, dumbass. Okay, next week, likely more design. Let me know if you guys have any ideas in a direction we should head. Do you like the direction we're heading? As always, Era, Shadow, and Suli, if you guys have any input, please do let me know, either on the comments or in the Twitters. And until next time, let me quick brainstorm a sign off for this. Please put your seats back to an upright position. Remember your children and small animals. Any that are left on the voyage will be auctioned off to that guy. Goodbye.